at the Hold the Line Canine Conference 2023. I'm Eric Stambro as usual. With me always is Ted Summers from Tulsa. Ted, what is going on, buddy?
We're downtown here again. It's a little bit different than it was last year. Thankfully, there's actually restaurants that are open now. I mean, last year it looked like a zombie apocalypse because we had just got done with the Rona, and it looks like Pittsburgh has bounced back. There's actually people down here. I remember last year there was like grass growing in this little median thing out here, and like I was like, oh man, they're gonna film a fucking zombie movie out here. We've got a list of interviews lined up that are going to be good. You're instructing tomorrow?
Today at 10:15.
Oh, so when we get done with this. And then I instruct on Thursday.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, whatever the last day is to do the scenario thing. So scenario-based training, that'll be good. And what are you doing?
I'm teaching, the class title here is called Removing Conflict from Your Training. It's my e-collar without conflict PowerPoint. I just didn't feel like changing it, so I just changed the name. But my e-collar without conflict class is 50% e-collar, 50% how you're screwing your dog up. It's basically when I tell people, are like, what are you teaching? The subtitle is shut up. That's what it is.
Stop talking. This is the one thing we used to tell people at HRD all the time. Dudes would be talking to their dog. They're like, good boy. And you're like, what the fuck are you marking? No, he is not being a good boy. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm like, stop saying that. He doesn't know what you mean. You're just white noise in the background. But
makes me feel better, though.
So, they announced, I guess next year, this Hold the Line conference is going to be in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, that'll be better weather.
Yeah, if you're from the East Coast, you know what Myrtle Beach is. Like, everybody on the East Coast goes to Myrtle Beach or has throughout. I live there. I got a son out of it, and I had a monkey when I lived there. And fucking wild times. I was ballooned up to about 210 from fucking drinking.
You caught a raccoon the other day.
We did. We've
You're
got
not going to keep him?
No, it's the mom. So here's the thing. There's babies in the wall. And they came in yesterday. They were going to cut a hole in and take the babies out. And I'm like, oh, man.
You got a monkey, though. Just get a raccoon.
I might want one of them.
But
what they did was they sprayed the female, the mother, with male piss and let her go. And then she got in the wall, takes her babies and vamooses. Because the raccoon males will kill the female to get her to go, or kill the babies to get the female to go back into heat. Horny little fucks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Raccoon, fucking dog cats are gangster. Wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you're, so she climbs up the wall across the ceiling tiles of the room, of the one room, and then climbs down a stripper pole into the kitchen. That's how she was getting in and around. So the pole has all her grubby little hand marks all over it, and they're gross. They're fucking gross. So anyways, yeah, they caught one. Took one day, so that was pretty good. So the babies are still in there, but they are not. So we'll see what happens when I get back. Maybe there'll be more. That's the problem with having an old, gigantic, fucking old ass building from the 1800s. Is
with a tombstone in the basement.
With a tombstone in the basement, yeah. Is that weird shit happens in there, dude? So listen. I've spent a million hours in the funhouse by myself. Never heard a sound. The other day I'm in there. I'm waiting on these two guys come. I have a little handler school, trainer's course going on. It's 10 till 9. They start at 9 o'clock. So I'm sitting there down in the one room, and the one main door that I use opens and closes. And there's no way, the way the wind is impossible. Heavy.
Oh, I've been down there.
Yeah.
Like, it's dark.
So I turn and look. I'm like, oh, they must have, because you can come in and dart down this hallway to go to the bathroom, like if guys have to hit the head or something. So I get up and look. No one's in the hall. No one's in the parking lot. Because I'm like, did a homeless guy escape? I don't know how they would get in the building. It's pretty solid. But so I'm sitting there, and I was like, man, that was weird. Like, it opened all the way up and closed. And that's our training facility.
The fun house.
Yeah. So there's a grave in the basement, and so
it's
whatever.
Full on. I'll show you a picture in a second. It's fucking creepy. It's got like, it's an inscription. There's flowers. How do the flowers get there?
Who knows? There's fake flowers there. They've been there forever. Because before I moved in, it had been 13 years since the Diebold had been there. So the flowers have been there 20-some years probably. But then we're upstairs walking around, and I have those Sonos speakers everywhere upstairs. I can play all kinds of stuff. They turn on, start playing a radio station. Yeah, because you have to physically connect to them. You have to make a point to turn those on and connect to them. So I'm looking at my phone. I'm not connected because you go through the Wi-Fi is how I play the music on my phone and sound effects. I'm looking, and then I'm like, well, let me pull up the Sonos app. Well, it's playing a song. It's playing a radio station off of iHeartRadio. I would have had to physically do that, and I hadn't touched my phone. Really weird, dude. So
Alicia will be super happy to hear that your place is haunted.
Yeah.
She's like, I knew it.
So, anyways,
I fucking told you.
what do we got going on today?
So we have with us one of the instructors, and that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be interviewing all the instructors. There's just some guys here too that aren't instructing yet. I think we're probably going to interview. But this instructor is his first time instructing at this conference. I don't think I've seen you at any of the other conferences, not any of the canine ones. Yeah, so with us today is Kenny Williams, the Red Ninja.
Yeah, look at his head.
Red Ninja. Yeah, well, we're not recording this, but you don't want to see me anyway. Yeah, Kenny, how are you, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, give us a little bit of background. We just had one of your other guys on, too. We just had Josh on from Street Cops. So,
he's a good dude.
Yeah.
Young dude.
Yeah.
Knows his dogs, but he was like, I don't know, since birth. He was
Yeah,
in the dog world.
he's over
You look at
so
him.
and so's kennel,
Working for Kenny.
Yeah, you look at him
Like
and you're like,
everyone.
what the hell is this guy going to teach me about dogs? And little do you know, he's been around them since he was 5 years old. So
Exactly.
he's 25, but he has 20 years experience, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been a cop for 16 years. I'm a cop in Indiana with Josh. Different agency, relatively close. I've had 2 dogs, both single purpose, and that is not my specialty. Everyone at this conference probably knows more about dogs than I know. But I work criminal interdiction. I've been doing that for 11 years. And dogs kind of coincide with, criminal interdiction. It's a great asset and great tool. So that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about in my class.
So you focus, you're on the human psychology of this side of things.
100%. Yeah, I focus more on, people's reaction to my presence, conversation-based stuff. Their, the human aspect of it where I'm very good at listening and not so much talking. And I think that benefits me in the work that I do.
Yeah. When I was at the police department, when I was in K-9, there's a guy, a state trooper in Ohio, who was really good at interdiction. He had a dog, but again, like you, that was that was like the lowest part of his job. It was watching and coming up with human behaviors. And I don't know where he learned it from, but his name was Sean Smart. And Sean was really good. And I went through his class 2 or 3 times. Our problem was we really didn't have a ton of success with it in Canton because on the highway, there's only one interstate that comes through the city, and there's no turnarounds.
Oh, yeah, that'd make it challenging.
There's no crossovers.
That'd make it challenging.
It worked on the street, though. If you want to get low-level guys, they all exhibited pretty much the same kind of behaviors.
Sean Smart is one of the. Sean Smart was the first class that I ever took when I started working in interdiction, and it changed my world, changed my perspective. But he is so intelligent, and this is no knock to him. I'm just not. So he's speaking in these big terms and shit, and it was challenging for me to understand. I'm just a dumb cop, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm super new to this. You're saying all these huge words and shit. I'm like, how? So then it took me time, and then it changed my complete perspective on everything. But then when I realized what he was saying and how he was saying it, it just all clicked. But it took a while after his class before things started to click with me.
Yeah, he's really good. I think he just retired.
He did.
Yeah, but we sent a lot of people through his class. We had got a big federal grant for a lot of stuff and sent a lot of guys through it, and they're paying overtime and everything. But again, no crossovers. It was tough. So we suddenly out of nowhere, we kind of have this micro relationship with Street Cop Training. We had Josh on. I was on their podcast with Dennis. You're one of his dudes. How'd they find you?
Uniquely, I found Dennis through TJ Collin. He owns a trap find social media company, and he teaches about traps. And then TJ introduced me to Dennis. In 2016, Dennis started to take his class from New Jersey on the road. He went somewhere like North Dakota or South Dakota. And then my agency hosted him for a 2-day class, followed up with TJ Collin. So we had basically a 3-day workshop on criminal interdiction and traps. And from that point, Dennis and I became friends. He offered me a job almost immediately to teach. But me being selfish, I wanted to accomplish personal goals in the interdiction world before I went to teach with him. And then late 2019, I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to teach. So I built a decent foundation within that group, helping guys out, social media platforms, you guys asking questions and kind of putting my name out there as just, helping as much as I can, but not dedicating time to travel and teach, because it is taxing. I mean, I'm still working a job, and I try to teach one class a month, and if I travel to anywhere, it's pretty much 3 days that I got to take off. So it's a little challenging, but it's rewarding as well.
Yeah, and Ted and I, we've talked about this between the two of us and other people a lot, is you got to take that step, right? You got to get out there, confidence in yourself, that that you are an SME, you do know what you're talking about, but talking to human beings and talking in front of people is a different thing. Ted and I, because we run handler schools, are mini psychologists at handler school, because you have 5 guys and 4 of them learn differently than the 5th one.
Absolutely.
Or 3 of them.
And the 5th one's retarded.
Yeah, and you got to figure how does this one learn? How does that one learn? Dude, I had a guy in my class one time, real good dude, man. He was not stupid. He was like 38, so he was a little bit older. But I had to talk to him like a child and make him repeat back to me every instruction twice before we did it, because he would forget. From I said, go get your dog, he'd forget it, the instruction from there. Or as soon as a dog was in his hand, blank, he would just blank out. So it was just the human psychology part of it. The teaching is big, but guys got to make the step.
I was talking with somebody about it, and I was watching some discussion go down, and like Rigney is, everybody knows Rigney. He's been on the podcast he's here somewhere. I saw him the other day. He is a very talented trainer in his own right, but he's also a very, very gifted instructor. Same thing with Nesbitt and Carlos Ramirez, right? So it's a skill set all in and of itself. Like, I know some magnificently gifted trainers in this industry that are fucking terrible at instructing. They can train a fucking dog, though, but they cannot convey how they do it. And then I know some guys that can talk that can't train a dog to shit outside. So, they're good dudes, though. It's all right. You're just not going to learn anything from them.
Yeah.
But, except, like, how to be cool. But either way, so... All right, one of the largest conferences in the country, HITS Canine Training Conference. It's America's premier canine training seminar, packed to the brim with the world's best instructors, and me and Eric, all covering important topics. There is no better place to learn and no better place to network with other handlers, breeders, trainers, and vendors. HITS 2023 is being held in Scottsdale, Arizona. I hear they have at the hotel, they have like this super high-end shopping outside, and I think you can go surfing in the desert, which I'm super looking forward to. Anyway, Scottsdale, Arizona, August 15th to the 18th. So hurry up and register now to save a spot, and make sure you get a room. We'll see everybody there. Largest law enforcement training conference in the world. Tons of training classes, lots of training topics for everybody and everything. Hours included, and more network opportunities. Be sure to hit up Jeff Barrett at 863-529-5113, HITS Canine, letter K number 9.net, and at HITS_Canine, and all of your socials.
One of the best relationships we have in this podcast and in this industry is with the great people down at Kinetic Dog Food. The story of Kinetic Performance Dog Food is pretty simple. They wanted to make a better premium dog food for the dogs that need it the most. Their goal is to give every working and sporting dog a higher energy level, better performance, and better overall health through superior nutrition. So they formulated a line of food based on what they considered to be the optimal profile of a performance dog. They've done tons of research on this. This isn't their first rodeo. These guys know what they're doing. If you're a kennel, they will come to your kennel. They will see the problems that you have. They will check out what works for the dogs that you have. They're amazing people to work with. They drop ship a pallet right to you if you want. I know a lot of guys that use them. There's a bunch of different formulas on there, and 32K might not be for your dogs. Maybe the 26K works. They can adjust it. They'll give you the right ideas what to do in different parts of the year. Winter's different than summer. It's really a well-run, good dog food company, kineticdogfood.com. Be sure to check them out on social media too, man. They're amazing folks, kineticdogfood.com. So my entire time that I was a handler or a trainer in law enforcement, the cars at my department, in the departments that I trained, all had American aluminum accessory kennels in the cars. Different cars, man. Dodge Chargers, all Ford models, some Chevys, SUVs, cars, everything. We loved American aluminum accessories. It's a great product, a great company. They've been serving canine law enforcement community for over 20 years. If you check out their website, EZ, that's the letter Z, ezrideronline.com. They got testimonials. They got videos on how to. They got a list of everything they have. Just today, we made a post on the Working Dog Radio social media showing a dog that survived a really bad crash because of the American aluminum kennel in the back of the car. Check them out online, guys. EasyRiderOnline.com. Just let them do their thing, man. Whatever car you got for your patrol car, get a hold of them, American Aluminum Accessories, and get the best in the business.
Next up comes training courses online from our friends down at Highland Canine Training, Jason and Aaron Ferguson. So in the post-Rona world, training budgets have been getting cut. People aren't going to be able to travel, whether it be instructors or they be canine handlers and supervisors going somewhere else for training. So Highland has announced a lot of online training courses. One of those that sticks out to me is their police supervisor canine course. And it's no secret that one of the problems with canine tends to be some of the supervision issues. This course is specifically designed for administrators and covers utilization as well as liability and FLSA issues. The course can be taken at your convenience, and you'll receive a certificate of completion at the end. When you go to Tactical Police Canine Training, that's letter K number 9, training.com, and use the discount code WDR30, you'll get 30% off of that course.
At this conference, you're teaching, the name of the class is Interdiction Mastermind. So, like you said, it's not specifically kind of like dog related. So, talk a little bit about what this class is and how we kind of got here.
Actually, so the owner of Worthless Canine took my class in Tennessee, and then he, I don't know if he wants me to put his name out there, but anyway, so he took my class in Tennessee. So therefore, about a week later, he's like, dude, I loved your class. Would you be willing to come speak at this conference? I'm like, yeah. I was like, but it can't be about dogs because honestly, I that is not my specialty. Like, I don't. And he's like, no, just your class. He's like, a lot of guys that work dogs aspire to, do this type of work. And I was like, yeah, man, I'll come do it. So he offered me the opportunity, and that's kind of how I'm here. I'm going to open my presentation with like, literally, this is nothing about dogs. Everyone in this room knows more about dogs than me. I don't want to even be on that platform. I'm going to show like 2 dog videos of just about how we handle some stuff on maybe the asset forfeiture side, which is a little different, and that's something that's very contested in the the public eye. So I kind of want to, if I can help someone by showing that type of shit, that's it. That's literally it. Don't look at me at how I handle my dog. Look at how the dog works, and that's all I want. Everything else is going to be about the human behavior of when someone sees a cop sitting in the median or a cop anywhere. That could be walking, that could be driving, and then their natural reaction if they're up to something criminal in nature.
And it's interesting because I'm on the exact opposite side of this. Like, I know shit about criminal interdiction. One of my handlers, a friend of mine, Anthony Moore from the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics, is also a very talented interdiction guy. And I constantly hear him like counseling young handlers and actually and other handlers too about the stuff same stuff. And I'm like, this is not my thing. So like, I'm the dog guy. I train dogs.
See, I find it interesting. Like, it doesn't, for me personally, still working. I absolutely love my job, and I love being able to beat people at a psychological game that they've prepared for months or years to beat cops. And all of a sudden, I have to break through that in 7 to 10 minutes in a normal traffic stop. And that's the reward. It doesn't matter what's in the car. It's me being able to win that battle that they've prepared however long for, and I can break them down in that short period of time. So I don't know. That's my motivation, and that's why I like it so much, I think.
So when we went through Sean's class back in the day, I'm saying this is like 2006. Like it's been a minute. They were really, and I don't know if that's just changed. They were really doing that 3-phase thing where you see that the first phase, what they do when they go by you, and then afterwards. Is that still kind of human the way that works?
Yeah, I mean, I could tell the public. I could tell like a guy that's running drugs, like, this is what we're going to look for the entire time, and their psychologies, no matter what I tell them, and I can tell them what we look for, they're still going to have those reactions. They might be able to control them a little bit better, but there's still going to be some reaction to your presence that's not consistent with the normal public. Like, you know that, like, if I get caught, I'm going to go to prison for 20 years because, guys, I have this in my car. Even if you go and educate yourself in any facet of it, you still are going to have some type of reaction to it. So, yeah, we still focus on all those phases. And I'm sure that is very similar to what Sean talks about and to what I look for.
Yeah. It's funny because, so we're talking about the phases, like somebody sees a cop and they're up to no good. They will switch lanes and get like between trucks, which is unnatural, right? Or get behind a semi or whatever.
Man, fuck all that.
Yeah. So now
No.
I always remember that because if I'm driving and I'm like, fuck, and I'm speeding and I see the trooper, I'll hit the brakes. I'm like, don't change lanes. Don't fucking change lanes. And then when we go by him, I wave at him. Dude, it throws them off. They look at you and they're like, I'll even go beep, beep and wave. The exact opposite of what I do. I'm like, so far it's working, right? I'm like, oh, it worked. He's like, I must know you.
And that's the thing in Indiana where I work. Trucks go 65, cars go 70 on the highway. Like it makes no sense for anyone in their right mind to be like tucked up next to a semi in the slow lane when they have ample opportunity to pass. Like my grandma's 85 years old. She hates driving on the highway, but she's not going to spend more time on there. She wants to get from point A to point B and get the fuck off.
And she's afraid of the big truck. It's unnatural.
But they think in their mind, I'm going to blend in because this is what a normal person would do, and they feel comfortable in that area for whatever reason. And once you start to see it, it stands out how abnormal it truly is.
Yeah. Now, how much? So back then, when we were teaching us the second phase, where they go by you, they won't look at you. If you don't really see the first phase, how accurate is that just at the second phase, or is it just because people don't look at cops? That part's.
So I mean, if we're looking at phase 2, I like something that is going to be comforting or concealing, and something that is deviating from the way that they approached. So if they're like all like laid back, joking, talking, and then all of a sudden they see me and then they push themselves back behind the B pillar or something like that, where like that, this is not how you've been driving. The only thing that's changed is me being there, and then you do something that is deviating from your normal driving. That's what I look for. But I really like comforting or concealing. This is the easiest way I can describe it in that second phase. But if I had to pick one of the three, it's after cars pass me. Typically, you're speeding. You see the cop, you'll brake, you'll slow down. If the cop doesn't pull out in about 7/10 of a second, you're going back to 90 miles an hour again. Criminal mind, it could be anything from a suspended license, warrants, anything, but they're going to still be worried about that cop because whatever they are doing that is wrong is that's still in play. That's still an element in their mind. So they're like, oh shit, has he pulled out yet? Has he pulled out yet? And then they're reacting still after they go by you.
Okay. This is the other thing I found fascinating. Is people that are hiding deep secrets in their life will exhibit a lot of similar traits as somebody doing something. So you're an authority figure. I remember Sean talking about this. So when we ran that grant, we came across, warrant people, we came across a lot. And this, like I said, this is like 2006. A lot of guys that were, just when you start talking to them, they're just kind of keeping secrets from people. Closeted gay guys, a lot of those guys would exhibit some of that stuff because they just have this secret they're hiding. And so a lot of their behavior would be very similar because Sean talked about it. He goes, you'll be surprised, man. You're going to come across warrant people with no license. They kind of behave the same way, and guys that are just struggling with something.
And I've stopped a few of those, and it's people, I've stopped a few male that were like cheating on their wife. And it's all the same behaviors, and then you come to find out, and then I would ask, and they're like, "Man, if I get a ticket in Indiana, I'm supposed to be at this point, or I'm supposed to be working, and I'm coming from 2 states away, and then I'm like, I'm not the moral police. I mean, whatever you're doing, that's on you. I'm looking for people that are criminals, and it's like almost a relief is lifted off them. And I'm like, I'm not the moral police. I'm not passing judgment. It is what it is, man. Like you go do your own thing. I'm not going to judge you on that. But yeah, I've come across a couple of those, and it's like all there. And then when I start to explain, I'm not the moral police, this and that, they'll just come clean, and it's like a relief for them. And I'm like, now I'm like, all right, this traffic stop's over. You don't have anything that I'm looking for.
So do you see? I know the answer to this, but we can talk so people see it. So I'm working. I'm a street cop. I'm working in a city. We don't really have highways. We're not doing interdiction, but we got shitheads on the surface streets. Guys walking, that type of folks. You see kind of the same. Is this applicable to guys just patrolling in a
Yeah,
beat?
any aspect of law enforcement. My first 5 years, I worked general patrol. I wanted to work the highway. We had no one working the highway. I finally bugged enough right people to get on a part-time team with the state police. But I would still go back and work patrol. And then even now, occasionally I'll go back when the weather's shitty, a month or two and work patrol. And it's all applicable. It might be a little bit different, a little bit quicker. People that are traveling across country with a load of narcotics have to justify for an extended amount of time, where you stop some dude that went into, say, like, a drug source area from a couple counties away, they have to justify 20 minutes. So the questions are a little bit different, but their behaviors, their driving behaviors, their human behaviors, they're all the same. Walking, and all of a sudden they see the police, and they'll make a quick turn to go down an alley or something because they don't want to go by you. And then on the highway, they're just stuck. They have to go behind you. So I always look for that difference a little bit in the city and stuff, is people that are avoiding you and making those right turns to avoid you quickly, or left turns just so they don't have to go by you. But on the highway, you're stuck. Like, you have to. And that's why I think a lot of that stress and anxiety builds up for the half a mile or so you're watching them. They're just panicking the whole time, and more avoidance within the city element compared to the highway.
So have you ever had contact, and Eric, you know where this question's going, contact with people that are trying to generate a contact outside? I mean, they're doing something. I'm talking about the Vlad bite, like the sovereign citizen guys. And
Who are trying to get you.
Yeah, so knock on wood, on the highway, I have not come across those. I know some of our city guys have, and they're just baiting them and stuff, which, yeah.
So there is a clear difference that, well, normally they don't have license plates on, which helps.
Yeah.
Or they have some stupid handwritten thing that's like some fucking commercial code bullshit, handwritten. But so, like Eric was saying, like if you're dealing with guys like on the street or like in a general traffic stop, because a lot of times, too, like I get this from handlers. I had one of my handlers text me, and they had stopped. They didn't. Somebody else had stopped a car. They got a call for service. Show up. They had already pulled the people out and then stuck them back in the car. And I was like kind of shaking my head, and my handler said the same thing. He's like, "Nah, this is not like an interdiction type deal. This is just like a normal." Like stop, and then they start putting all the pieces together type deal. They weren't specifically looking for it. But, if you're not here sitting in your class for like new handlers or even seasoned handlers that aren't working interstate, what's the way, aside from coming to a class, like if you could give somebody some advice, what's the easiest way to start kind of working towards the lane where we're looking at human behavior, like some of the first things that we're trying to recognize when people are trying to hide something from you?
So comparing it to like the sovereign citizen, I feel like the sovereign citizens are doing things that are so overt that they're trying to draw your attention, where people that don't want to draw your attention are doing minor things, but they're trying to conceal it in some way. Where the sovereign citizens that want to get stopped and they want to have contact because they want to make you YouTube famous and all this shit, they are doing things that are so overt where it's almost obvious. And then you look at someone that is criminal, doing something criminal in nature, they will do those minor details, but they're trying to be more subtle about them.
Hiding their face is a thing too. Like if it's the B pillar,
Yep.
or you see the dude walking on the street, he will like
Fake phone call.
yeah, or whatever next to his face to cover. I'm like, you're wanted. I mean, there's
But that's what, like the comforting or the concealing. So they're gonna hide their face, shield their face, put their hood up, start talking on the phone if you're looking more of a city environment, or comforting like guys with beards in stressful environments. A lot of them will start playing with their facial hair. Like, like it's for whatever reason, and I'm a weirdo. I do it myself, and I'm like, you're a fucking weirdo, Kenny. Stop doing that shit.
Yeah.
But I do it. Like I get in uncomfortable situations, and the next thing I know, I'm like playing with my beard. I'm like, dude, stop.
All right, we love the Perkinsons down in North Carolina at Highland Canine Training. They are great people, great trainers. They got a good business model. They're awesome folks. We've been with them for a long time. They're also super smart, and they understand that a lot of agencies are struggling to have manpower, so they're not sending people away for training. You guys have been there. You put in, denied, lack of manpower. So they've created an online course section of their website, tacticalpolicecaninetraining.com. You get on there under training, the online course. But here's the best thing is they offer a canine supervisor course, which we know a lot of police canine supervisors don't get to go to training. They don't know as much as they should. Right here online, The course discusses topics such as proper selection of dogs and handlers, proper deployment, effective allocation and utilization, as well as liability and the FLSA issues, which we know is where all the legal stuff comes from, interdepartmental. The course can be taken at your convenience, and you will receive a certificate of completion at the end. They're offering an amazing discount, guys. 30% off using the discount code WDR30. It's a no-brainer. If you're a police supervisor and you guys have manpower issues and you can't go, get on tacticalpoliceK9training.com under the training tab. Get on that supervisor's course, man. I'm telling you, it's a smart decision.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break for just a second and talk about Dogtra, one of our favorite sponsors. Dogtra's been committed for over 20 years to crafting dog training e-collars to perfect and precise fit and finish, intuitive design, and accountable performance. The Dogtra 1900S e-collar is one of my favorites, and it demonstrates what they strive for, an ultimate dog training tool that is durable, dependable, and designed for the most demanding conditions, which I can attest to because I tear stuff up frequently. My favorite is the 1900S Black and the 1900S Hands-Free, which I use all the time. Check it out at dogtra.com. Be sure to use the discount code WDR10 for 10% off any single item over $200. That includes the 1900 and the 1900 Black.
It's no secret that we love Ray Allen Canine Equipment. We use their products every single day. The mission statement says it all: to be a world leader in quality and innovation of professional canine equipment for police, military, Schutzhund, and ring sport, to exceed our customers' expectations and deliver on time every time at a fair price. We full-heartedly believe they've held to that, since it is our go-to one-stop shop for everything canine. Not everything canine alone, guys, dogs in general. If you train dogs, if you have a dog, everything you need for dog or canine, check out Ray Allen Canine Manufacturing, rayallencanine.com. Use the discount code WDR10 for 10% off.
Super excited to have American Aluminum Accessories on board with us here at the podcast. These guys manufacture a wide variety of products, from high-quality cam locker toolboxes to an extensive line of products designed to meet the ever-changing needs of the law enforcement community. Around 1992, due to the demand for safe and secure transport for a local law enforcement agency's canine unit, they introduced the very first in-vehicle Easy Rider canine container. So it was basically what we now call just our inserts. They have continuously grown and expanded the products, catering to the needs and the wants of their valued customers and high-profile clientele, and catering specifically to law enforcement. Over the years, as the needs have changed for law enforcement, they've evolved and expanded the products to include inmate transport systems, the canine training aids, which I use quite a bit of, canine inserts. Every one of my guys has one of those things. And if you're not even have to be in law enforcement, I have several friends that are civilians that work lots of dogs that have the inserts put into their cars too. So if you got one that fits, you can do it. They also do contraband and animal control systems, just to name a few. So be sure to hit them up. The website is Easy Rider Online. So that's the letter E, the letter Z as in zebra, rideronline.com. If you're looking for them on Instagram and Facebook, it's American Aluminum Accessories. Feel free to hit them up there too.
So our first and oldest sponsor that's been with us from the beginning is Arno out at ALM, out there in Las Vegas area. Arno is a great dude. He makes great stuff for police work and sport work, suits, tugs. I'm telling you right now, his tugs are the best in the business. You can't get any better. Multiple colors. I buy boxes of them from him, give them out to everybody. I've got a bite suit from him. Love it. I've had it for a little over 3 years, and it's holding up like a champ. Ted's got a suit that he's had forever from ALM. We wouldn't go anywhere else, man. We love it. Arno is such a good dude. His ALMK9equipment.com is the website. Get on there. He's got pre-made suits. He can do custom suits based on your measurements. He's got stuff already made up. If you're going to get a kind of generic large size, maybe for everybody, the colors he has, man, is really cool. He can put a lot of stuff on those suits. Check him out, ALMK9equipment.com, and use the discount code WDRadio for 10% off.
Running a kennel is one of those things that I always worry about, is cleanliness and safety of dogs. And it seems like it's an ever-changing issue, being able to house dogs and move things around, everything else. So the guys at Horizon Structure make this as easy as possible. Literally, the only thing you have to do is have water and power hookups, and they deliver it, and you can put dogs in that day. And comes on a trailer. They just drop it off. You plug it in, put dogs in it, and you're ready to rock. You keep them clean, you keep them safe, you keep them cool in the summer and warm in the wintertime. And it's completely custom. You can go complete mild to wild. I've seen some that were stainless steel all the way from top to bottom on the inside. And then I've seen some for a bulldog breeder that, had smaller gates because those things can't jump. So if you reach out to them, they're sitting there waiting for you to call and help you through the custom design process. They have everything from 2-dog ones up to, I want to say like 18 or 20. It's you can put a lot of dogs, indoor, outdoor runs. So anything you've ever dreamed of, they've got it, or have done it, or can do it. So they've taken all the guesswork out of building it. Everything is pre-done to your specifications, and it's assembled, dropped off, boom, you're ready to rock. Things are amazing. Rigney has one. We've had him on the show a couple of times. Go check out his Instagram, and you can see he's posted it up there before. Go look Horizon up at Horizon Structures, spelled out. On the internet, it's horizonstructures.com, and you're going to look for the link in there that says commercial dog kennels, or give them a call, 888-447-4337. They'd love to talk to you and get you started on the way.
So speaking of weirdos, Ted, I can confirm. Listen, if you guys have been listening to the news, there was a pretty big activity in Oklahoma yesterday. Ted was here. I can vouch. There was a guy right outside of Tulsa. They found 7 dead people in his yard.
Yeah, that's in my. So that is So
I'm like, Ted was here. I know. I can vouch.
So get this. It's in Henrietta, Oklahoma. And I just finished a handler school with my handler's name there. His name's Theron Richards. He has a dog named Gan. Henrietta PD. Henrietta is just south of Tulsa in Okmulgee County. Okmulgee County Corrections also has 2 of our single-purpose dogs. And Henrietta, this year, in the last 8 months, has had 2 multi-victim homicides. The first one, some dude caught 4 dudes breaking into a tow yard, killed them, and cut them up with the sawzall they brought in, and then threw their bodies in a fucking river.
That's somebody who's fed up with people stealing.
And get this,
shit.
He had been charged with murder 10 years prior.
Oh.
Yeah, so Henrietta and Okmulgee County kind of have and Henrietta, I mean, Theron's a great dude. He's a great cop. He's been a cop for a while. And, but yeah, they found 7 bodies. And get this, like the guy he was a convicted sex offender and had a phone in prison and was sending illicit child pornography and pictures of his dick to his victim.
Oh.
They let him out. He still goes and contacts her, picks her up. The parents of the girl, one of the dead girls, had no idea about his background or about his history. And the night before this happened, he texted the victim in the original crime, which he was supposed to start trial 2 days ago. This is the 3rd. It's supposed to start on the 1st. And he was like, I'm doing all of this because of you. It's a fucking crazy. And then so they have found 7 dead bodies at this
all
property.
Young women?
No, a family. And
they haven't released any more information.
He picked up the 2 girls that he was talking about. He picked those
crazy.
2 girls up and killed them.
Jesus.
Just, they're friends. They were 17 years old.
Yeah, like 15. And so like right before I left, I got an Amber Alert, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And the next day, they were like, yeah, they're dead. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, so, I was here. It had nothing to do with me.
Jesus.
But
so Kenny's got his own brand called the Red Ninja. And if you see him, you'll understand why. He's got red hair and wears it a certain way, and he's got a whole look, and he's got these beautiful hats and this whole thing. Where'd that come from? Who coined that?
So, as a child, like middle school, high school, I used to fuck around with nunchucks, and my nickname became the Red Ninja. My first email ever was K the Red Ninja. Dennis offers me an opportunity to teach. I didn't want to send it on my department email. The only other one I have is this. And then he asked me the fucking story. And Dennis, being the marketing wizard that he is, he's like, we're running with that shit.
Yeah.
So I thought this was dead.
It's a cool picture, man.
I thought this was dead in high school. And then, about, 5 years ago, Dennis.
I'm old enough that my first email had 69 in it, more than likely.
Probably.
Yeah.
Hotmail, MALE, at hotmail.com. Yeah, exactly.
So if somebody comes to see you at Street Cop training or any other seminar, what does it look like? What should they expect? Take notes, I'm assuming, because there's probably a lot of science, or no?
Yeah, I mean, I just talk a lot about the communication aspect. I feel that as cops, we fail at communication. So, like these small seminars, I focus a lot on the communication aspect, and I think that's universal for any cop in anything, in any realm. So I try to give as much as I can. Not just I'll focus a little bit on interdiction, but then it always goes in the communication aspect. As cops, we kind of like the authoritative figure. We become the asshole or the dick, and not empathetic in certain situations or scenarios, or just completely how we conduct ourselves. And I kind of feel that that's kind of inbred in us in the academy, and they build us up to think that like everyone hates us, so we're going to be a dick, the next 20 years. But they never like break us back down to be like, that's not how it is. There's certain situations that you have to be this person, but the majority of the time you could just be a normal person. And I on my traffic stops, I talk to people like I would talk to my buddies. If they're elderly, like I would talk to my grandma, like honestly. So I just kind of like open people's eyes I open their eyes to, you ask one question, let them keep talking, and they're going to give you free information, especially when they're criminal in nature. They're trying to, if someone's telling you the truth, it's going to be to the point, quick, no other things, nothing else around it. If they're trying to be deceptive, and you leave that moment of silence for 2 or 3 seconds, they'll just start rambling about other shit. And I love when people give me free information because they can't control it. They don't like the silence typically, and they're just going to be talking about other things. And then I get to build my rapport with them very quickly and ask about the questions or the statement that they just provided. I'll ask them questions about.
Cool. So your classes are a couple hours typically? Or?
It's usually a day. So
Right.
unless we go to a conference, 2 hours roughly, and that's why I focus on the communication aspect. But if you go up to my full seminar, it's usually 9 to 4:30 or 5. I typically, depending on the questions, it all depends. But I try to get people out of there by 5.
Cool. Awesome. How can people get a hold of you? Where are you at on social media?
Yeah. My Instagram is red_ninja111. If you follow any of the street cop platforms, they often tag me in things. You'll be able to find me pretty easily.
So you ever show videos you
on the private? Teaching for sure. And then on the private page, we where you have to be Leo verified and all these things, that we'll put some. We put a lot of education things out there, and it's a lot of case law based, where it's all factual statements and all these other things. So it's hard to argue when you have the facts. But yeah, I mean, if you're a cop and you're not part of the street cop page, you're missing out on a lot of free information that's out there.
Yeah, it's really blew up. Like they're doing really well.
Dennis is a marketing wizard.
Yeah, we just shit talked traffic cops in admins. Shocker, the entire
Bad admins.
hour that I was on.
We need to do a
Yeah.
shirt, something about like admins.
Shitty admins.
Yeah, shitty admins.
Well, Gary worthless handler. Everybody knows his name. Has the hell, but like he has the admin tested sticker that's got the little. It's the the tattoo flash art. Fantastic.
It is. Ted, what about you?
Ted_Summers on the Instagrams. Working_dog_radio for the podcast. HRD Police K9 letter K number 9. For everything else, and we've got seminars pretty much through the rest of the year. Some are closed, but I think we got California, Texas, Indiana.
What part of Indiana?
Up north, we're gonna go with guys Central Indiana K9, Kyle Schaefer and those guys.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be.
You've been there twice.
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah, we went to Hammond. We did there, and we did a decoy camp for them. We're going back. So it'll be a new group
During
of handlers.
COVID, Hammond was the first place that was like, "Fuck it, come on over."
Yeah, same with me. I coming out of COVID, I taught my first class in a church in Indiana, and we just said we were preaching.
Also, Indiana's the only place I currently put weed on dogs. They're still requesting marijuana.
We do.
Yeah, my first dog. My first dog had weed. This is my current dog was the first one in our agency that we didn't put weed on.
Yeah, it's a little short-sighted, I think, to put it on.
I think. I mean,
at least in Ohio, because Ohio's medical,
we have
not recreational, and it won't be recreational for a few years. It keeps getting taken off the ballot. They don't get enough signatures, or it just isn't going to pass. It will, but for now, it's not.
We just had a vote, and they were so freaked out leading up to it that the state AG's office and the OBN were giving us information, or just kind of like putting information out that's like, don't. And while one of the OBN handlers was in my handler school during this, their inside guy their attorney called them and said, "Hey, do 3 odors, right?" And they're expecting this thing to pass, and it failed like 70-30, and everyone was shocked. So I was telling departments, I'm like, look, if it passes, like, just you don't have to worry about it. But if it doesn't pass, like I'll put the odor because it takes me like 3 days to have an odor dog, right? And like the day it passed, I had several departments call me back to like, okay, we want weed back, and I'm like, all right, like, whatever, that's fine. So
real quick, part of, and then we got to get off here, but part of the interdiction is knowing, and this is where a lot of guys really don't understand, knowing your state, knowing travel. Indiana, dope, east and west or north and south?
So Chicago fucks it all up for us because Chicago's a mini hub, so we'll have guys that were coming from, everywhere in the Midwest going to Chicago. But then we also see stuff from Florida coming up north and then Chicago down to Florida. So the intermediate routes are opposite. So if you're coming from Florida, you're typically going to bring dope up, money's going to go back. If you're coming from, say, Cincinnati and you're going to buy a little bit less, you're going to come from Cincinnati with money north, and then the dope will go south.
Oh,
so it's all of that's just a little bit different. Can I touch on two things real quick?
Yeah.
You talked earlier about instructors, great cops, really knowledgeable, but then kind of piss poor instructors. I was never a great speaker or anything, and that's what when Dennis offered me the opportunity, I spent tons of time like watching TED Talks, watching like Tony Robbins and all these guys speak, and like my personality, I'm like I have to if I'm doing this. I'm competitive as fuck, and I'm like, I want to be one of the best, or the best person I can be in that. So if you're a great cop and you have a great specialty and you want to spread that knowledge, you just need to dedicate some time and learn how to speak. And I think that will, help you out in that field, and your knowledge and your experience will be relayed for generations.
Yeah.
And I think we're all attracted together too. Like a lot of us, I'm here for a reason. I think a lot of proactivity, good cops, good mindsets, all kind of are attracted to each other. So it's great seeing this stuff.
So Indiana used to be, I'm sure, years ago, all biker meth. Is that even a thing anymore? Is it all cartel meth?
It's all cartel.
Yeah.
It's too. It's too expensive. I mean, it's too expensive. There's so many restrictions that the states have put on about trying to get this shit from the pharmacy, and it's.
Dude, I got ID'd for Tylenol, I think the other day or some shit.
It's got Sudafed in it, or it's got.
I think if it's just a medicine anymore, they're just saying fuck it, ID them.
Claritin every time because I get horrible allergies every time, and then they're like, "Oh, you can only have 20 in 20 days or whatever." I'm like, "Okay, my allergies are kicking my ass, but sure."
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks. I appreciate you coming
pleasure.
in, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you.